Welcome back to the channel, folks. If you are gearing up to push deep into the Alaskan bush, you need to understand one harsh tactical reality right out of the gate. Mother Nature up there does not care about your feelings, and she certainly does not care about your excuses. The margin for error in the last frontier is effectively zero. When you are miles away from the nearest trauma center, a catastrophic gear malfunction is not just an inconvenience, it is a potentially fatal tactical error. You are stepping into a rugged, unforgiving theater of operations. The apex predators are massive, the topography will break your ankles, and the weather shifts from bad to deadly in a heartbeat. In that kind of extreme environment, your primary weapon system needs a chambering that hits with the authority of a runaway freight train. More importantly, it has to go bang every single time you press that trigger under adrenal stress. Today, I am giving you my expert breakdown on 5 legendary calibers that have absolutely earned their reputation in the Alaskan wilderness. These are not safe queens. From stopping a 1,000-pound brown bear dead in its tracks to reaching across a windy ravine to tag a bull moose, these are the heavy-hitting lifesavers you can actually stake your survival on. Number 5. The 375 H&H Magnum. When we talk about ballistic royalty, this right here is the crown jewel. As a firearms instructor who heavily studies terminal ballistics, I can tell you this is arguably the most proven, globally respected cartridge ever pushed down a rifled barrel. Originally engineered back in the day to handle dangerous game on the African savanna, it did not take long for Alaskan guides to adopt it as their gold standard. Professional hunters up north have staked their lives on this chambering for well over a century. Why? Because it delivers an incredibly rare balance of shooter control and devastating kinetic energy. Typically, you are launching heavy projectiles weighing anywhere from 235 right up to 300 grains. Those big chunks of lead are leaving the muzzle at velocities between 2,500 and 2,700 feet per second. That translates to a massive payload capable of ethically putting down anything walking on 4 legs. I am talking everything from standard whitetail all the way up to Cape buffalo and elephant. But here is the real tactical advantage. Unlike some of these modern, overboard super magnums that feel like getting kicked in the chest by a mule, the recoil impulse of the 375 H&H is surprisingly manageable. If you apply proper fundamentals and know how to drive the gun, you can run this caliber highly efficiently. The engineering genius actually lies in the brass itself. That long, tapered case with the belted head spaces perfectly. It feeds into the chamber like absolute glass, and it extracts with total reliability. When your bolt gun is packed with freezing mud and icy condensation, that flawless extraction is a non-negotiable survival feature. With modern projectiles like a solid copper Barnes TSX or a Nosler partition, it shoots incredibly flat for medium-range engagements, and the tissue destruction is profound. If you want a rifle in this iconic caliber, you are looking at legendary platforms. Think along the lines of the Winchester Model 70 Safari Express or the CZ550 Safari Magnum. Expect to invest between $1,500 and $2,500 for the gun. Feeding it takes a commitment too, with quality ammunition running about $90 to $140 for a box of 20. But if you could only own one heavy rifle to survive anywhere on the globe, the 375 H&H Magnum is undeniably the reigning champion. Number 4. The 300 Winchester Magnum. When Winchester rolled out this absolute powerhouse in 1963, they completely revolutionized the long-range hunting game. This cartridge was purpose-built for the marksman who demands a laser-flat trajectory and brutal terminal performance well beyond standard ethical shooting distances. It immediately earned its stripes across the board. Military snipers, precision rifle competitors, and backcountry hunters all recognize the massive tactical advantage of that extended reach. You are generally sending projectiles in the 150 to 220 grain category, and they are moving fast. We are talking screaming muzzle velocities between 2,900 and 3,200 feet per second. All that speed means the bullet retains a staggering amount of kinetic energy when it finally impacts a target a quarter mile away. The mission adaptability of this cartridge is frankly off the charts. You can dial it back with a lighter 150 or 165 grain pill for tagging varmints or ringing steel. But when you step up to a heavy, high BC 180 or 220 grain bullet, you get the sectional density required to shatter the shoulder of a massive bull elk. Now, make no mistake, it is a high-pressure Magnum round. You will absolutely feel the recoil impulse in your shoulder pocket. However, if you drop it into a properly fitted stock or chassis, it is entirely controllable for a trained shooter. Advancements in modern bullet technology have only amplified its lethality. When you pair this speed with a bonded boat tail or a monolithic copper solid, it crushes through thick hide and dense bone like a wrecking ball. Because it was designed to run in a standard-length Magnum action, the market is flooded with exceptional rifle options. You can grab a proven workhorse like the Remington 700, a Winchester Model 70, or precision setups from Ruger, Savage, and Tikka. Running this beast will set you back roughly $1.50 to $3 every time you pull the trigger. The rifles themselves generally sit in the $800 to $2,500 range, before you even look at custom builds. If your operational environment requires delivering a massive payload into a different zip code, the 300 Win Mag is your ticket. Number 3. The .338 Winchester Magnum. From an instructor's standpoint, I consider this to be one of the most perfectly balanced Magnum profiles ever introduced to the American shooter. Winchester engineers basically looked at the legendary .30-06 and realized that some guys in bear country simply needed more horsepower. But they did not want to subject shooters to the punishing recoil of the bigger, dangerous game rounds like the .375. So they took a .458 Win Mag case, necked the brass down, and seated a heavy .338 caliber projectile. What they created was the ultimate compromise for the Alaskan wilderness. You are launching massive 200 to 250 grain slugs at velocities crowding 2,950 feet per second. That translates to a jaw-dropping 4,000 foot-pounds of kinetic energy right out of the muzzle. Let me be clear. That is highly effective medicine for dropping angry coastal brown bears in their tracks. Thanks to the incredible sectional density of these heavy bullets, they plow extremely deep into the target. They smash through massive muscle groups and thick bone structures that would easily deflect lesser calibers. And despite that massive payload, the trajectory is shockingly flat, giving you a highly capable point-blank range out to 400 yards. It is a highly flexible weapon system. You can run lighter loads for harvesting deer, or stoke it with heavy bonded projectiles for apex predators. The recoil is undeniably stout. There is no getting around that. You need to be completely locked in behind the gun. But if you run a high-quality recoil pad or thread on a good muzzle brake, it becomes surprisingly manageable. You will commonly find this chambered in serious backcountry rifles like the Winchester Model 70 Alaskan and the Ruger Hawkeye African. Hardware in this category usually runs between $1,200 and $220. Ammunition is strictly premium territory, so prepare to drop anywhere from $75 to $120 a box. If you demand a primary weapon that commands absolute respect from the biggest predators in North America, the .338 Win Mag is battle-proven. Number 2. The .30-06 Springfield. Listen, you simply cannot have an honest discussion about American firearms culture without paying your respects to the absolute legend. Adopted by the military in 1906, this specific cartridge has arguably put more protein in American freezers than the rest of this list combined. We are talking about well over a century of hardcore, real-world field testing. From the muddy trenches of 2 global conflicts straight into the freezing alpine ridges of the last frontier. The true tactical advantage of the .06 is its flawless balance. It does not feature the brutal, shoulder-separating recoil of the heavy Magnums. That means you can actually stay on your optic, call your own impacts, and deliver rapid follow-up shots under immense adrenal stress. It takes full advantage of that incredibly efficient 30 caliber projectile geometry. Most guys are running standard weights between 150 to 180 grains. But if you do your research, you can absolutely find heavy bush loads pushing 220 grains. With muzzle velocities floating around 2,700 to 2,900 feet per second, it consistently delivers a solid 3,000 foot-pounds of kinetic energy. Do not let the age fool you. This is no slouch. It is the perfect, scalable tool for black bear, caribou, elk, and with precise anatomical shot placement, massive Alaskan moose. It offers highly predictable ballistics, making it a reliable precision tool out to the 400-yard line. And when you feed it modern, chemically bonded hollow points, the terminal expansion is vastly superior to what our grandfathers had to work with. Practically every major manufacturer on the planet produces a .30-06. Whether you prefer Winchester, Browning, Ruger, Tikka, or Remington, you are covered. You can easily build a highly capable rifle system for $800 to $1,600.
And here is the absolute best part, from a logistical standpoint. You can walk into any hardware store or gas station from Florida to Fairbanks and find boxes of .06 sitting on the shelf. You will usually pay around $35 to $60 for 20 rounds. It is the dictionary definition of the American gold standard. Number 1. The 4570 government. Guys, this right here is pure American history wrapped up in heavy brass. The U.S. military originally fielded this cartridge way back in 1873 for the Springfield trapdoor rifle. The nomenclature was simple. It literally handed you the recipe. It was a .45 caliber lead projectile sitting directly on top of 70 grains of black powder. Now, fast forward over 150 years. This absolute workhorse remains the top-tier choice for lever-action operators and professional guides navigating dense, unforgiving brush. The introduction of modern smokeless powder completely transformed this antique into a modern ballistic sledgehammer. We are no longer talking about the anemic cowboy loads of the past. Today's high-pressure defensive ammunition can push a massive 300 to 405 grain chunk of lead at a blistering 2,100 feet per second. That equals over 3,500 foot-pounds of bone-crushing energy. Let us be realistic about its capabilities. This is not a precision sniper system. The ballistic arc drops like a rainbow past a certain distance. But if you are operating strictly inside of 200 yards, the terminal stopping power is nothing short of catastrophic. It is a highly modular system depending on your firearm. You can run standard pressure loads for vintage trapdoors, or you can step up to nuclear plus P-style bear loads for modern reinforced actions. I am talking about running it in the Marlin 1895, the Henry All-Weather, or the Ruger No. 1. It is an absolute bulldozer. Depending on the furniture and the finish, a solid lever gun will cost you anywhere from $1,000 up to $2,800. Models like the Marlin 1895 SBL and the Henry X model are incredibly popular right now because they handle so fast. Ammunition pricing swings wildly depending on the load, costing anywhere from $55 to $100 a box. If you are looking for raw, unadulterated stopping power, a rich heritage, and a rifle system that swings incredibly fast in tight quarters, the 4570 government stands alone at the top of the mountain. All right, that wraps up the intel for today. Those are the specific chamberings that keep operators and outdoorsmen alive when the Alaskan food chain decides it wants to fight back. These are not trendy internet hypebeast calibers. These are serious, life-saving tools vetted by professionals who literally live and die by their gear choices. If you gain some tactical insight or value from this loadout breakdown, do me a favor. Smash that like button right now. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel with those notifications turned on so you do not miss out on any of our no-nonsense defensive content. Drop a comment down below and let me know exactly which one of these calibers you are chambering before you step into the bush. Stay safe out there, keep your head on a swivel, keep your powder dry, and I will catch you guys on the next one.